Welcome to Hiring Happy Hour, where we celebrate the human side of hiring. I'm your host, Nicole, and together we'll pull back the curtain on people shaping the future of work, the innovators, the dreamers, the change makers behind today's hiring experience. These are the real stories behind the dashboards, from leaders transforming talent acquisition to the everyday moments that remind us why we love hiring in the first place, to connect people with purpose. Hiring Happy Hour is brought to you by Smart Recruiters, an SAP company, the AI-powered software for superhuman hiring, helping organizations hire faster, smarter, and more human. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hiring Happy Hour. To say excited is not the right word, but I have a guest that's not a customer. So this is a totally different perspective, and he has actually helped me in the world of podcasting as I am new and he is not. And so we are excited to have an impressive consultant, speaker, author, and podcaster. Oh, yes, he is a national who specializes in practical employer brand transformation. So candidates, if you're listening, companies, if you need branding, he's your guy. He has written 5 books, not 4, not 6, but 5, including one that you may have heard of called Talent Chooses You and Becoming Choosable, and hosts his own podcast called The Talent Cast. Last year, actually, I can't say that anymore. It's 2026. 2024, he earned a Transform Award finalist nod for Inspiring Resource of the Year. And I do find you to be inspiring. Owner-in-chief brand builder at Employer Brand Labs. Please join me in welcoming James Ellis.
Thanks so much. It's been great to be here. Everybody have a great time. I got to go. Bye.
You can't do that.
Who lives up to that? Who lives up to that? Come on. Here, I feel like I should retranslate what you just said is, hey, in front of us is someone who, is a total ham and he's a total loudmouth and you've probably seen or heard him before and you've probably sat through his garbage, blah, blah, blah before, but he keeps writing books. So we keep inviting him to shows. So why don't you welcome our friend James? Like that is that's in my head what I heard. I'm just saying.
And you know what? Your advice to me before we started recording about just say what you're, preempted not to say, I'm going to take that going forward. So who knows? This might be sunset in a week.
We'll burn it to the ground. It'll be a fantastic finale.
James, I am really excited to have you here because I think even in our preparation conversations, you bring a spark, but also a different perspective. And I would love to hear from you around what your hiring happy hour is.
Man, it's so much. Right now, so first off, I am obsessed with employer brand. Anybody who's heard me talk before knows I've been totally obsessed with this. I have no other hobbies, really. There's nothing related. I used to play drums a long time ago. It's long since stopped. So if it's not my wife and my kid and it's not employer brand, it's not really on the table for me. I have noticed that as of late, because I'm a huge Reddit fan, for some of you are also fans, and some of you are recruiters and you go to recruiter hell and you wonder, why am I a fan of Reddit? And I understand that. I appreciate that. I get the whole mix of that particular kettle. But I say I love Reddit because there's an unceasing list and line of people who are coming up to Reddit saying, here's my resume. Why won't anybody call me? And it's fascinating. You want to see the pain from the other side of the fence. You want to see what they're going through. You want to see the layers upon layers upon layers of bullshit dogma and bad advice that have codified and calcified into what you're supposed to do. The arguments over the numbers of pages in a resume blows my mind. The number of people who present these resumes are like, well, that's all Times New Roman font. Your margin is like the width of a hair. You've used every single space of it. It is a gray page. It is a completely gray page as far as I can tell. And you're wondering why no one will call you. I have some thoughts. And so I, being the idiot that I am, and I will own that title, I wade in and I start giving responses and no one likes my responses. No one, and I'm not even being mean. I'm trying to be super nice. I'm trying to say things like, hey, I'm sure you're really qualified, but there are 100 other people just as qualified as you are. And in the odds of 1 to 100, guess what? You lose. So your job is not to be one of the 100. Your job is to be not one of the 100, because recruiters, and I use this line all the time. Everybody says recruiters take 30 seconds to review a resume. That's a lie. They take 6. They take 6 seconds to decide if they should spend the other 24 seconds wasted on you or if this is a waste of time. And you have 6 seconds to make them say, not only am I qualified, but I'm different, and you should put the computer down now, your coffee down now, and immediately pick up the phone and call me, because you have the sense that perhaps I might be exactly who your hiring manager has been waiting patiently to see. And that is where the bar for recruiting and hiring is. And if you don't embrace that, I don't care how many power words you have. I don't care how many times you read What Color Is My Parachute. I don't care about whether it's 1 page or 27 pages. It don't matter until you get the threshold of this is the value I'm providing. You aren't going to get the call, and no one wants to hear it. Yep. And I'm just leaning into it. I'm just saying, this is what I know.
You're honest.
Yeah.
And here is his hiring app happy hour / guilty pleasure Reddit, REDDIT, for those of you that have never heard of it. Please go.
Oh, please.
You can go down rabbit holes on any topic.
Rabbit holes on rabbit holes. I mean, here's how rabbit hole you get. There is a Reddit thread. There's a subreddit, which is what the sub-communities are, about a particular coffee espresso maker that I own. And there's hundreds of people who talk about, well, have you tried pressing down, and have you gotten the adapter that does that? We go nerd bombers on a particular manual coffee maker from Britain that was $200. There is a thread and a subreddit for everything you've ever thought of.
Love it. But I love our topic even more because you're taking advice for candidates. So if you are listening, recruiters, hiring managers, think about what James is sharing, because he's giving the advice to candidates. But this is something that, again, he's being very honest, whether people like it or not, around the truth, right? It is true. It is true. We barely spend time going through these things because we are busy. So I want to get into some of the advice that you have given to candidates, right? Interesting stat for you on this topic. 32 to 200 applicants is what an average candidate applies to. And it usually comes around the average of 163 applications to where they get a job. That is defeating.
And that's the average. That's the worst part. There's some people for whom it's like, that's day one. That's easy. And the tools that make it easy to just send your jobs everywhere inflate those numbers artificially, because you're not doing what it takes to make your value clear to that company. So consequently, you're just flooding the market with garbage, and then it just makes your numbers look bad. And then the worst part of that is it just makes you feel bad. I mean, there's enough bad news out in the world as it is. I mean, there's no need to be piling on. There's no need to go making more.
No.
But for you to decide, I'm going to send my resume to 1,000 companies and 1,000 jobs and not get any responses, I must suck. Can we interrupt the pattern just a little bit before we get to that stage? That's what we should be doing.
You don't suck. It's just you have to change something, right? Or a few things. So tell us, James, what be the honest, true advice that we would read on Reddit around what candidates can do to improve this?
Yeah. I am a big fan of thinking about taking things. So I'm a strategist, so I think that means taking things to the nth degree, small and big. You say, what happens when no one applies? What happens when the world applies? Like, how do you really just kind of push yourself to put yourself in a box where you say, okay, now I know where the constraints are. And I once did because I am a resume nerd myself. I like editing my friends' resumes. There are people like that. There are people like that.
Times you say geek and nerd. Okay, just so we know.
It's just feel free. It's a drinking game. Some people are going to die.
Hiring happy hour is a happy hour.
Exactly. Brought to you by not Alcoholics Anonymous. Anyway, so say this is the saltiness. So the thing I think about is, what would a perfect resume look like? Like, what would a mind-bending resume look like? And I thought, who would have an amazing resume? You know who would have an amazing, perfect resume?
Who?
Oprah. Oprah's got to have the world's greatest resume. Wow. Hi, I only had the #1 talk show for bajillion years. I only had the #1 magazine for bajillion years. I started schools in Africa. I'm an Oscar nominee. Let's be fair. Because of Oprah, there's a whole audience who read more books for 10 years than without her. Right. So what would Oprah's resume be? Would Oprah's
and not her favorite?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's not even tell you how much shit she sold, and a couple of individuals who might be in politics these days who I kind of wish weren't. But anyway, separate conversation. My politics are pretty clear. Anyway, what would Oprah's resume be? Would it be professional summary? I am seeking an employment role in which I can leverage my 32 years of public speaking and connection experience to blah, 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 blah. I've already fallen asleep. No, Oprah's resume is real simple. 1, had the number one TV talk show for 27 years. 2, had a number one magazine for 13 years. 3, sold a lot of books. 4, Oscar nominated. 5, I'm Oprah, call me. End of resume.
So we should all change our name to Oprah?
I think that's, honestly, from an SEO standpoint, wouldn't hurt. Anyway, the thing is we forget that resumes are commercials.
Yeah.
We have been tricked into thinking there's a structure and there's a way you're supposed to do things. And HR has tricked us into saying, hey, we don't like dealing with your sloppy, messy experience and skill set that we don't even understand. So what we're going to do is we're going to put you in a series of boxes, and all the boxes are going to look exactly the same. And we get to have all the power of choosing which box we decide to leverage. And that's bad. You don't want to play that game. That is a game where you're waiting to be chosen, and that is a game you are going to lose way more than you're ever going to win.
What outside up?
I know, right? You got to get out of it. You got to break the box. You got to say, what is outside the box? Because the truth is, and here's the thing, there's so much bad information around recruiting and hiring from the candidate side, right? We've all heard the tricks about, well, the ATS is rejecting people. And so what are the 4 tricks on how you trick the ATS into doing the AI bots? You're going, and Amy Miller is like banging her head against the wall going, you people have no idea what you're talking about. And the rest of the recruiting world's going, I can't believe we still have to have these conversations. There's so much bad knowledge out there. The truth is, HR wants you to do this simply because HR doesn't understand who they're hiring for. If they're trying to if the company's trying to hire a data scientist, what does HR know about data science? Nothing. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. They're not supposed to know that. But somehow they're in charge of driving what the shape of that box looks like. And then they pass that box over to recruiters who've got to fill that box with as many bodies as possible. So the hiring manager can pick from that box to figure what, none of this makes any sense at all. In any other supply chain methodology, you'd all go, what is going on? Who was drunk when they set this up? But if you understand that model, you understand, oh, there's a lot in that process I can actually ignore, because while HR has a lot of power at the beginning of that process of defining that box, they don't actually select from the box. They don't actually look in the box. They don't actually care about the box once it's passed to the recruiter. They don't care.
Yeah, it's true.
Now, if we ignore that, okay, we have 2 people we have to serve. The recruiter, whose job is to bring the smart people to the hiring manager. And they want to do that as fast and quickly and simply and smoothly as humanly possible. They don't want to look at 400 resumes. They want to look at 2 and call it a day. So you have to be so obviously not qualified, but amazing for this role, which is really hard because recruiters don't know much about data science either, or computational biology or nursing or whatever it is they're hiring for, right?
So how do they do that?
How do they do that? They have to stand out. They have to show, I am qualified. So 1, hey, recruiter, you're not going to feel like an idiot if you bring me to your hiring manager, because at least I'm qualified. You can say, hey, this is a crazy one, but it might be worth a look. That's fine, because I'm still qualified. I'm just not like the other 99 very qualified people. I'm different somehow. The best way to do that is to connect what you do to the value that the company values, which might be, oh, you're a data scientist? Yeah, but I also code. Oh, but I also actually understand the industry you work in all day long. And I've actually built a solution that solves X and Y and Z inside that solution. Oh, but actually I developed an app that leverages data science to get more people to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, that's interesting. That's different. That is not what's on the job posting. Now, I'm not saying stick your mountaineering and I like to kayak and take long walks on the beach in personal interests and stick them on the thing. I'm saying if it shows not only that you're valuable, but that your value is specific to you, top of the resume and everything else. Oh,
so I love this. I love this because superhero is a theme word I use for many of my directs.
Yes.
Our channel is called Superhero COE, Center of Excellence. So I'm not kidding. But also too, there are a number of ways to get through that initial, right? The hundreds of thousands. You still have to have some of those skill sets to that data scientist, like get past the match, we call it. How do you do that all while also sharing your super heroic amazingness? Cover letter?
Yeah.
Letter to manager? Like, how do you do that?
I'd like to avoid cover letters. There is so much dogma around that. And I'm old enough to remember having to write a bunch of cover letters, but cover letters existed in a day in which your resume was laid out and someone you printed 20 or 100 copies at the printer on the linen paper with a little bit of finish. You couldn't change it. It was, it was baked. It was locked in. You could not change it. And a cover letter was there to say, let me put a wrapper around this to explain what the heck this resume says.
Yes.
Well, we don't live in that world anymore. Your resume is a PDF, which means you've got it in Google Docs, which means you have 4,000 different versions of it, depending on who you're talking to, as you should, because if your resume clearly in the first 2 inches of the top says, this is who I am, this is my value, this is how I'm different, that is what a recruiter is going to look at to say, should I bother reading the rest? Now, you do have to get past that match.
Yes.
But the best part is the match is not the match, right? Remember, HR drove this bus for a while and they decided to fill that job posting with 14 trillion bullet points because apparently they're paid in bullet points. Not all bullet points are created equally. I'm going to guess that the first 2, maybe 3, and sometimes just the first bullet point is actually the job. And everything else is, well, they look really lonely. Let me put some more stuff in there, right? Right? Saying you must have, good written and spoken communication skills. Yeah. Assumed. Hey, you should know how to communicate with us. Yeah. Hey, you should know how to work within an office. Hey, you should know how to use the Microsoft Office suite. What year is this? I mean, come on. Like the stuff like that, you're like, that is not the critical stuff.
Right.
The hiring manager is not going to say, the hiring manager is not going to say, Mark Zuckerberg, what an amazing coder, but doesn't know Microsoft Office that well. So I guess we have to pass. No. Know what's critical. And it's based on what the order of those bullets are. And those top ones are critical. So if you can in a breath kind of say, yes, I can do that and have done that. And here's the thing we add to it, the flavor twist that kind of gives it a little punch. Right? Are you putting mustard on that burger? Are you putting ketchup? Are you putting barbecue sauce? Are you putting Thousand Island? What's going to give it the spin that goes, oh, this is different? That is very often enough to get you out of the pile of qualifieds, but looks all the same pile. And that's because that's what the game is.
And that it is a game. It is a game. And I like the way that you
Absolutely.
Beat this game. I do feel like I'm playing a video game where like match the match is the vaults that you have to jump past to get by to get to the big bad guy that you need to pass and tell him you're a superhero.
Yes.
But I think too, LinkedIn profiles, career sites, like all that stuff, is it fluff or is it just adding to your amazingness?
It depends. So if you're a candidate, and I'm a LinkedIn fan, so I use it all the time. I have challenges. I have issues with it. I could complain about it all day long. Lord knows we all could. And I'm on it all day, so I guess it must be something. The thing is that you have to understand there's 2 ways to come to a candidate. The candidate applies and the resume is the doorway. Or the candidate is waiting for the recruiter to find them on LinkedIn, in which case LinkedIn is the doorway. Those doorways should be similar because your unique, special, magical value, your particular superpower is your superpower and should be communicated at the top of both. But you should not assume that one leads directly to the other.
Okay.
So if you say, I have a superpower and I'm going to put it on my resume, your superpower is about get me out of that pile. I'm different, I'm qualified, but get me out of the pile. LinkedIn's different because LinkedIn, you get found via searches, and those searches are a lot more complicated than reading the first 3 sentences of your resume. So you can and should list the skills and experience inside each of those jobs and inside your kind of about me page, because that is how someone using a Boolean query, feel free to Google that if you don't know what that is, kids.
Or spell it.
There you go. B-O-O. But to find you, they're going to list all these criteria, and you have to meet those criteria in order to be found in the search results. But once you're found in the search results, your headline tells them who you are and why you're not like everybody else. So the rules are similar, but you got to adjust the format slightly for a slightly different game.
This makes me happy because I think my LinkedIn profile is pretty cool. I like it. Whiskey man's wife. I've got 3 kids on my back. It tells a story. I am a superhero. I'll pat myself on my back. I have a 104-year-old grandma downstairs that I also take care of. So here we are. And I am not selling myself on this show. I am not. I want to switch gears because I think you have done an amazing job helping candidates to truly focus on how to become a superhero and get past match the match and truly have a chance out there. So hopefully everyone that's listening that's a candidate will not have to go through 163 applications to get that job. And you've taken some keen advice from James. But I want to talk about something else. I read one of your articles and pipeline versus job posting, job boards. I think in today's world, we as companies are all, as always, really fighting for that top talent. But it's also now a timing game of getting to them quickly. And I think, I want to hear more around CRM, right? We talked about this. People buy it, they don't use it, maybe because it's not that easy to set up or they don't have the strategist to do it. I want to hear your perspective on pipeline.
Okay. So we first have to kind of take a half a step back and say the reason we're very much in the mess we're in, the reason why a lot of recruiting is expensive is because we have gotten addicted to the sugar fix that is ads. We have gotten addicted to saying, well, we don't have any candidates for that thing. Post some ads, and an hour or two later, we get some applications. Are they good? Yeah, are they good? Separate conversation, isn't it? But you feel good. You feel like there's activity. And when the hiring manager goes, hey, anybody, and I don't know why it's a dude in my head, but there you are. Hey, why do we have any applicants for my job? And you say, oh, we have 20. And you don't have to say that they all suck, but you can say that there's not movement. And the hiring manager will go, okay, cool. Let me know when you got somebody good. And they walk away for a week and you have time to kind of do the rest of the job. We've gotten addicted to that sugar fix of just get me some candidates quick. And ads and boosting and promoting job posts on job boards are the sugar fix for this. Here's the thing. There's a lot of research that shows if you think about the perfect candidates for your particular job, let's keep this in the micro, let's keep it to individual as much as possible because it's very easy to get lost in the weeds here. You're hiring for a job. Now, assuming you're not focused on transactional hiring, meaning put the butt in the seat as fast as possible, qualified is good enough, next conversation. You're trying to hire someone who is there to grow the business, who is going to be a game changer, who's going to add significant creative strategic value to your company. Okay, that person, of all those people who meet that qualification, 5% of those people are actually looking for jobs right now. 5%. Now, that is okay. You're like, oh, that makes sense. Plenty of people have jobs. They're not looking for jobs. That makes sense. That's fine. And that split makes perfect sense, except that they don't see the real danger in that. And that is 99% of all recruiting, tech, tools, tactics, what have you, are geared towards that 5%, which means, yeah, they're the ones with the I'm looking for work, I'm open to work banners, and they're the ones on job boards, and they're the ones on your career site, but they're also on everybody else's career sites. And they're also looking at everybody else's jobs, and because everybody else is targeting the exact same audience. So it's like saying, hey, this fishing hole has the most fish. Yes, but everybody in the known universe is at that fishing hole too. So it kind of negates any value. The worst part is that because it's such a well-fished space, the prices to stand there keep going up. Like, you ever see ad prices go down ever? No, I didn't think so. Me neither. So I don't want to stick my nose into a particularly messy business, but that is the reality, which means that 95% of the people who you could be hiring, who your hiring manager would be thrilled to bits to talk to, are not on job boards, and they are not looking at ads, and they are not on your career site, and they have zero interest in looking at your day in the life video, which looks a lot like everybody else's day in the life video, a separate conversation.
Yeah.
You want to get to them, which means, one, you can't use the methodology you do to talk to in-market candidates to out-market candidates.
Okay.
One of the fights I have on LinkedIn on a regular basis is posting, we're hiring, doesn't work, except to attract the people who have already applied for your jobs and are already looking for a job, and that is not useful information to someone not looking for a job. That is akin to saying, hey, James, you want to try this amazing shampoo conditioner compound? No, I do not. That is not valuable, useful information or product for me. For someone not in market, saying you're hiring is not information, but we don't know, and we're not good at talking about ourselves and talking about these jobs in ways that aren't transactional. We've been trained to be completely transactional. Our metrics are conversion-based. Our focus is about how do we get as many applicants in there and convert them as quickly and soonly as possible. But that's not necessarily the only way to do it. You could say there's a lot of people out there who are really good, who aren't being talked to by a lot of recruiters. And if they are, it's a lot of, hey, do you want this job? To which the answer is no or ignore. What if you said something different to them? What if you said something inspiring, educational, informative, something engaging, something useful, something that serves them, not you? Right? You're trying to hire a data scientist. You don't say, hey, I have a data science job. Do you want a data science job? She knows where the data science jobs are. No one's hiding the data science jobs, right? But if you said, hey, based on our work, here's our predictions for what 2026 data science looks like. Would you be interested in seeing a quick 2-page report? Yeah, I would. Now, is it going to get everybody to say yes? No. Is it going to get a much higher than a 0.01% conversion rate? Yes, because you're talking to someone about stuff they care about.
Thoughtful.
And that begins the conversation of saying, look, I can't sell you a job, which by the way is life-changing and therefore should not be something you make a decision on immediately. I can't sell you a job in a day or an hour.
Yeah.
I can't do it in an email. What I can do is talk about how we're not like every other company, how we're different, how we have something different to offer, whether it's our mission, whether it's our work experience, whether it's our reward systems. We have something different to offer you. And there will come a time in which you want that thing. And when you do, hi, how you doing? We should be the first place you step. And what happens is, this is how you think about pipelines. It's not about how do you stuff it full like a Christmas goose, like, or, like a turkey you're trying to make for Thanksgiving. You're trying to figure out what is something you can say that no one else can talk about so that they assign a very specific understanding of what you offer in their mind so that you are now on their, these are the magic words, consideration set well before they look for a job, because the best people you want to hire do not go to job boards. They go to their consideration set. They go to their 5, 10, 15 companies. They go, I'd like to work there one day. They seem pretty cool. And when they're ready to look for a job, they reach out. If you're thinking pipeline, you can build that relationship and feed and nurture that relationship with more information so that when the time comes, to your original point about speed, which I did not ignore and I did not disagree with, but what's faster? Posting a job to a job board, getting 1,000 applicants, some of whom may, you hope, might be qualified in a week. And then the week you have to spend going through them all, like, panning for gold. Or you go to your CRM and your pipeline and you say, who are the 4 people who'd be perfect for this job who I have a relationship with? I'm going to ping them right now. Hey, would you like to talk about this job? I know we haven't done this before, but I think this would be amazing for you. Can we talk about this now? You're going to get 2 people to say yes. And that's way faster than waiting the week for the applicants to show up.
This is great. And it's fascinating because you are just doubling down on thoughtfulness, strategy, hiring plan, and truly taking the time to hunt and nurture, right? You think about
Yeah.
posting a job out there, especially for, let's just say mid-level and above, right? High volume hiring, yes, go do your thing. But for these types of roles, you should know that they're coming and also continuously engage with these individuals. And even if you don't get your top candidate, you have a few more in that consideration pipeline. I love the word consideration. To truly talk with and engage with, possibly see at conferences, possibly have a human conversation, coming back to that combination and getting to know them. And I think this is fascinating because we don't invest enough in this. Yes, recruiters, we know you're busy, but at the same time, like, the long play gets you something the right way.
Yeah, this is where my thinking around employer branding kind of puts you at the right spot, because I don't think about employer branding as how do I make you look good? How do I make this company look good? How do I make this job look good? When things look good, they look the same, right? If everybody used the bold glamour filter from TikTok, we'd all look like Kardashians. Okay, now that's fine if there are no other Kardashians, but since it just made all of us look like Kardashians, what's the value of looking like a Kardashian?
I'm good not looking like Kardashian. I'm good.
Yes, yes. Again, again, for those of you on Reddit, that's this whole separate rabbit hole. Anyway, the thing about that is I want to think about brands, and I want you to think about brands not as looking good, but as being different, showing how you are not like other companies. And when you know how you're different, it's like this aperture that says because the challenge you're going to get is, to your point, recruiters have no time. How are they going to nurture these things? I got to have 50 relationships with individuals and I got to write all this content. Like, no. Understand what makes the company unique and different and special. That narrows the aperture to the 2 or 3 things you want to talk about over and over in different ways. If you're all about autonomy and how you offer autonomy, tell stories of autonomy. They may or may not apply to the person you're talking to directly, but the more they keep seeing, wow, you really care about autonomy. I want autonomy one day, and one day they want it, and they call you because you are the company that talks about and focuses on autonomy, and they've been missing that. The other part of it is, you got to think of this as not as a spam list. Yeah, I said it. Not a spam list. You don't just shoot emails to them because it's fun. You will burn them out. You will make them hate you. I promise. If you pick a smaller group and nurture them, you can also use them as your recruiting advocates. You can say, hey, I've got this job that you're not going to be great suited for, but you know what we're all about. Do you know anybody who'd be good at this? And not only are you not having to cold email, cold in-mail, cold outreach these people, and we all know what the conversion rates on that is, you're letting them speak for you because now they get what you're about, what makes you different.
Yeah.
And they've got a relationship with a lot more people than you do. And suddenly you can expand your network to those people. And if you don't buy that person a $50 coffee down the road, what are you doing? Come on. That should be a natural thing. But this is how relationships work. And I feel like to 98% of recruiters, this sounds like too much work and too hard. And I'm talking crazy talk, but to 2% of recruiters, they're going, yeah, dude, we figured that out 20 years ago. What? This is what and how the best recruiters work. I am not inventing the wheel here. I'm simply distilling great practices from the top 1% and 2% recruiters and saying, if you had all the time in the world, what you'd do is you'd figure out how you're special and talk about that. That's what I'm here to help with, but I'm just stealing good thinking from recruiters because I'm just there. They're trying to serve them.
I love it. So now here we are. We've talked about how to help candidates. We've talked to how to make recruiters increase that percent from 2 to more. This is a great strategy. I've learned, right? I think I didn't think about that ambassador component, and I'm just seeing the exponential of how 5 can go to 25 and more. And I
Exponential
will
is the
tell
right word.
you, I'm sure we could look up the stats on referrals, but quality candidates from a referral are there.
Mhm.
So lovely, lovely,
Yeah.
James. All right,
Yeah.
we're going to switch gears. We're going to switch gears to a fun one that I am curious about. And this is outside of
Okay.
work. So whether
Yep.
it's family or those hobbies you can't get to, whatever it may be, maybe we go back to Reddit. I want to hear what your happy hour is outside of work.
Look, I am a solopreneur. God, I hate that term. It's true though. It's just me in my dining room here in Chicago. Hey, everybody, good to see you. These are, my notes on my whiteboard. I am surrounded by this. I am my own boss. And I'm going to tell you right now, my boss is a jerk. My boss does not give me a day off. My boss is always asking if I thought about that report. My boss is always asking, is there a faster way to do that? Have we invented a way to build that? How do we stop doing that? How do we save money? My boss is just brutal. So I don't have a whole hour. What I do get is coffee, and I do really dig coffee. For anybody who listens to my podcast, I once joked it's the world's most caffeinated recruiting podcast in the world, and it's purely on. I mean, honestly, if you listen to me at 1.2 speed, I'd blow up I'd void your warranty. It's just that simple. There's just too much. I just can't, and you can already feel it. It's just I'm held back. It's just too much happening.
Are you trying to go for the Micro Machines commercial at the Super Bowl or something?
Yes. Thank you for anyone under the age of 35, you have no idea what we're talking about. But anyway, look, it's on YouTube. Google it, Monfreres. This is my whole brain, and I think coffee is one of those things where for 5 minutes I can kind of stop. I've switched from drip coffee to espresso. My daily driver is a small flat white in a 6-ounce cup, which is tiny. You ever drink? I drink from a 6-ounce cup. It feels like I'm drinking from a tiny little teacup, like a giant at my daughter's teacup. It's horrible, but it's enough to kind of say, focus in, get the drug you need, which, let's be fair, my ADHD loves caffeine, so it's my daily driver. And it allows me to take a minute and just say, okay, this is what's going on. What am I doing today? What do I want to do next? What matters most? And that is as close as I get to a happy hour.
Okay. So I love coffee too. Are you a coffee, and I'm going to say it, snob in like a certain type that you have? Because I've gone down this path. I have some firefighter parents, and let's be honest, firefighters have some time, and they became coffee connoisseurs. And so I just followed and jumped on their bandwagon, but they started to get coffee from the Midwest from Redbird Coffee. He was a bird watcher / coffee maker. Phenomenal. He would send you little chocolates. Now we've gone on like a world tour of all these different coffees. Is this part of your jam?
I'm not quite there.
Okay.
I'm not quite there. I will admit 2 things. One, if you don't know who James Hoffman with 2 N's is, he is the world's greatest coffee YouTuber. He has the greatest hair ever. He has the most ridiculous cartoon perfect hair. I lust after the hair. I'm not afraid to admit it. It is fantastic. White, gray hair. It's thick. It's just the shock of hair. It's just insane.
He might be one for that shampoo conditioner we talked about earlier.
Yeah. He's doing something right. I don't know what it is. But he is regarded as the #1 coffee YouTuber, and there's a reason. His stuff is just phenomenal, whether it's reviews, whether it's the science of why when you drink a cup of coffee, you suddenly feel the need to go to the bathroom, whether it's the, everything and anything, the science of particle size analysis and the coffee and the measuring the amount of caffeine and the way it's all fantastic. And my wife will laugh because if I've got 10 minutes, I'm just sitting there, I'll turn him on, and having seen a video 3 times already, I just, yeah, tell me about that $4,000 coffee grinder.
Oh my.
I'd love to hear more. And some of these things are insane. And you're just like, it's the British accent, the whole thing. And Rory Sutherland jokes about, you'd be better off getting into heroin than listening to his videos, because once you start to watch his videos, you're like, I just need to buy this grinder. I just need to buy this machine. I just need to buy, I have specialized portafilter baskets just for this kind of coffee. And then I got to dial it in. Like, oh my, it is a gateway drug to something else.
Oh my gosh.
So yes, I like that.
Okay.
But I'm also lucky enough to live in Chicago, 1 block away from my local coffee roaster, Coffee and Tea Exchange. And they get stuff from all over the world, and they do a great job sourcing. So I don't need to live that FedEx deliver a 12-ounce, 16-ounce package to my door life. I just walk around the corner.
Okay. So we do a French press every morning. My husband and I split it.
Good.
And it is enough to put in the veins.
Yeah.
When I go and travel for work or what, and I have a cappuccino, I'm like, it's not enough. It's not enough. And now we're into all the supplements, right? Like adding the functional mushrooms as our creamers and all these things. So there's another rabbit hole you could go down too from the health and wellness perspective to put with your crack cocaine coffee.
Delicious. Don't mind if I will. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Cheers. Well, we know what our happy hour is here. It's coffee today. All right. We're going to go into my favorite part, this or that. You have played this before, yes?
A little bit, yeah.
Okay.
I'm not an expert.
Okay.
I'm not ready to go pro, but I'll hang out.
You know what? You are allowed to be a superhero in this regard too, and you don't have to decide or. It can be and. You can choose your own adventure in this world. But we are going to provide the guidance of this or that. You can choose one or go rogue, whatever works for you.
Yeah, going rogue is my favorite.
Okay, here we go. Resume or LinkedIn profile?
They are so different. And I don't believe they should be the same, but I think they should be connected. Personally, I think we are still, for lack of a better way of thinking about it, we still live in a resume-centric world, right? A number of people who have reached out to me in the past couple of years said, hey, I'd love to hear about you. Send me a resume. Like the resume still is the thing. And so, yeah, LinkedIn will get you some attention, but no one's going to print your LinkedIn profile and say that's enough of a resume. So it's still a resume that moves the needle, and less so LinkedIn. And I hate having to say that.
Okay. Well, maybe these are the transformative years. I don't know. Maybe some.
Perhaps. I'm a digital boy. I want it to be LinkedIn. I want us to have profiles out like that work and do it that way, but we're just not there.
Okay. AI or no AI?
Oh, absolutely AI. What, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. That's like saying I grew a third arm. Stupid third arm. Why? I mean, come on. It's amazing. Are we using it right? Not really, but we're still learning. It's still year 3 from when ChatGPT showed up. We are babies compared to what's happening. And I am very aware of what Claude Code is doing, what the Claude Mott bot is doing. If you don't, that's a rabbit hole you don't need to be in. But ChatGPT and Perplexity and all these other stuff, I am very involved in these tools for my own work because they allow me to really maximize my ability to see perspectives from multiple angles, to think from different points of view. Should it ever be used to select a candidate? No, don't do that. Don't even pretend to do that. That's a horrible idea. Enjoy your lawsuits. I mean, it's just bad news all around. But the stuff that, I just got access to Google's Workplace Studio to start to do some integrations on the back end of my Google stuff. Super excited about that. Right now, this week I made Claude interact with Firecrawl, which scrapes websites, and Appify, which I can get to scrape LinkedIn profiles. And I can say, here's the name of a company. Go grab all of their web content about their career site and their culture. Go grab their last 40 LinkedIn posts, stick it on a flat file in my Google Drive and name it company name. And I can do that to 10 companies in the same industry. And I can immediately go, now I know what this industry is all about. It took almost more time to type those requests in than actually and then once you have that, because the challenge everybody has with AI is that, it hallucinates. It hallucinates if you don't give it enough stuff.
Right.
But if you give it all these flat files and say, looking just at what I've just given you, compare, contrast, find anomalies, find baselines, find interesting ideas, find different angles. Why this, why that? Glorious analyst. It is a glorious analyst and will jumpstart your thinking so fast. And that's just one way of using it.
Yep. Good input, good output. I'm with you. All right.
Absolutely.
Find me or find you?
I want it to be find me. I really do. As a marketer, that should be enough, right? That should be the church I worship at. If I'm a strong enough marketer and I've presented myself and positioned myself and made that brand and position clear, you should find me. And
Okay.
LinkedIn search sucks. I'm sorry. It is still just not very good. I'm, the job board search is horrible. Like this stuff is like they're using search engine circa 1997 kind of thinking. Like it's just such bad technology. I don't know what they're doing really, but it's just, it doesn't really work. And so consequently, if you are putting all your chips in on one bet, and that bet has to involve that LinkedIn and all these search engines work, that's a faulty bet. That's not a good idea. So it's still find you, even though I want it to be find me.
Okay. All right. We're going to do this in a few years again and it be different
Yeah.
answers, right? We'll be so much
I
further
hope so.
along. Everyone will listen to the wise word of James and that 2% will be 10%. We're getting there. We're getting there.
Step by step.
Career site or job board?
Oh God, not even close. What are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Really?
Here's a fast, easy one for you.
Oh my God, career sites, of course. Like, here's the best part, and the answer to that is there's manyfold, but my favorite is this. You actually own your flipping career site.
Yes.
You get to decide what is on that stupid thing instead of the 3 fields that the job board told you had to fill out and you didn't know how to fill out. And you had a junior recruiter do it once 3 years ago and you forgot that they did it and all the data is way out of sync. Sorry. No, it's not even a question. Honestly, it's like saying, do you want to eat just these 3 ingredients or do you want to go to the grocery store? I mean, I want to go to the grocery store where I can make something amazing based on infinite possibility, not just these are the 2 things we found in the convenience store.
All right. Topic we have not covered, reward or recognition?
Ooh. There's no right answer for that because everybody's different. Everybody drives by different motivators.
Yep.
One of the things that drives me up the wall is all candidates like this, all recruiters like this, all companies like this. And there's no one right way to job search and there's no one right way to recruit. Everybody does it a little differently. And so consequently, you follow that through. Some people want the cash and those people are motivated by cash and there's nothing wrong with that. Goldman Sachs got to hire people too, right? Like that's just life. But some people are okay saying, okay, that is enough money for me. I don't feel the need to eke out that extra nickel, but man, having someone see me and see that I've done this and put my heart and soul in this thing, that's nice too. And those are different people. And so you kind of have to just embrace that those are 2 different kind of ways of being. And that's just how it is.
Make sure your boss knows this, okay?
Yeah.
You tell him. Referral or internal mobility?
That is a good question because I feel like I know my referral thinking and thought process really well. I do not know my internal mobility thinking very well. I will say one of the greatest brand strategies, employer brand strategies, talent strategies out there is enterprise mobility. They are mobile, rent a car. They used to do, they do rent a cars. They keep changing their names to get Enterprise Holdings for a while, whatever. They all hire specifically entry level and everybody's got to go through their program and everybody's got to work a desk and everybody's got to check in the cars and vacuum the back seats and go find the thing that you've left and say, oh, madam, sir, you forgot right. Everybody's got to get on the phone, customer service phone and get yelled at. Everybody's got to go through it before you can do other things. And because of that strategy, there's so many values then. And what I love about it is it says they can focus all their energy on a very, very tiny demographic market that they care about. They're not interested in hiring data scientists. They're looking for making data scientists for the most part. They're not looking at having to be on every place to kind of attract all these people. They're building those skill sets. They're from inside and they get to focus their message and they get to focus their audience so well. And they do amazing work. And I love that. It is a particular strategy.
Yeah.
And I think the problem is a lot of companies go, ooh, internal mobility, that's a hot topic. Let's get us some. And they sprinkle it around like, pixie dust, like it's magically better. And it's not. You have to have so much infrastructure around it to support it. And here is the number one reason for that. You want that person to go from that team where they succeeded to get leveled up to that team over there where they could succeed. You know who's against it? The boss where they're working right now.
Yeah.
You have just pulled resources from them. And if they don't trust recruiting to backfill properly and quickly and effectively and predictably, they're not going to let them go. And suddenly, recruiting is dictating the ability to do internal mobility. And that's just one way that happens. Internal mobility is a system in the truest sense of the word. We cannot treat it like a program or a project.
I will tell you, internal mobility is one of my favorites. So is referrals, because I think they both bring quality candidates. Working with some of the customers that I have, Visa does an amazing job of this.
Yeah.
Promoting and having rules of engagement. Make sure your manager is aware, right? But I also think, to your point, being a manager that has had internal mobility as well as had it taken from me, you have to be a good manager and be okay letting this person shine and go on with their
Trust.
career. Total trust, and also a good relationship, right? They're not going to leave you high and dry tomorrow. So you work on a plan. It's all about planning. But I love that. I love that. Okay. Ooh, this one. Reddit or LinkedIn?
Oh, God.
I'm making you choose.
You really are. Well, it's Sophie's choice. I will say, in terms of time, it's LinkedIn. In terms of love, it's Reddit. There's just, look, first, because I have a great network of people, of human beings who I adore, who I'm fascinated and wondrous by. There are people who I engage with all the time. My LinkedIn messaging is more active than my text messaging.
Wow.
If that says something,
Wow.
which it should. I kind of live on LinkedIn. And when I'm bored, I want to go to Reddit. I actually want to go to Blue Sky too, but I also really want to go to Reddit because that is where all the rabbit holes are. I think could just get lost.
I hope Reddit appreciates how many people after this go and explore it. I really hope they appreciate it. I mean, sponsor over here. Hello. All right. Last one, James. And this is related to happy hour because, yeah, we've got to. Aside from coffee, okay, coffee on the side burner, whiskey or rum?
It's going to be whiskey because whiskey is more versatile. But if I'm in the right spot, there's nothing better than rum.
I mean,
I'm just going to say
wife, so I love hearing that. We're going to have to get you some of the blue corn and try it. But
oh, no, don't do that. I would hate that. That would be horrible.
Could go in your coffee too. I mean,
ooh, there's that. Olay.
Love it. Love it. This has been so fun, James. I'm telling you, it's so fun. I've learned from you. I am going to go to
wait, I got to be back to work? Oh, maybe I got to go back to work. Why?
Boss said you need to go get another flat white.
Ooh, okay.
Tell people where they can find you.
LinkedIn, obviously. Beyond that, I am Employer Brand Labs. Employer Brand Labs is me. So if you go to employerbrandlab.com, all my content, all my stuff is there. Links to books, all that stuff. But ultimately, feel free to be a buddy and find me on LinkedIn and connect with me. Unless you're so obviously selling me something, I say yes to everybody because I don't know who's going to be amazing until they are amazing. So I love getting semi-random LinkedIn requests. I'm like, cool. Okay, sure. Cool. Wow me. Let's go. Let's figure it out. So LinkedIn, it's James Ellis, and I'm it's listed as the war for talent, which I'm told is not supposed to be as fun as it used to be, but here we are.
Oh, so fun. So fun. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Thank you. You have made this so enjoyable.
Thank you. This has been a blast. I'm so thrilled you invited me. This has been great.
For those of you listening or watching, first of all, you're going to see a lot of facial expression if you are watching. If you're not and you're listening, you're going to hear it in our voices too. We have had fun today, and it is because of you, James. And this was different, right? We talked about a candidate perspective, which I think is so helpful for those that are struggling. So please take some of this, use it. Recruiters, if you are not using pipelines or talent pooling or have thought about taking maybe an hour out of your week to do so, think about the return on investment and think about James's book. Think about his book to help you. All right. Thank you again, all, and we will see you next time. And that wraps another episode of Hiring Happy Hour. Thanks for tuning in and for believing, like we do, that hiring isn't just about filling jobs, it's about the impact we make. To catch more stories and show notes, visit hiringhappyhour.com. This episode was brought to you by Smart Recruiters, an SAP company, an AI-powered platform for superhuman hiring. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and keep humanizing hiring. Cheers!